Good evening, everyone. Thank you, and welcome to the 2022 Which Way to Win Festival. Delighted to see all of you here tonight. Hope you'll join us in our evenings tomorrow, Friday and Saturday. First, I want to acknowledge that we are on Wiyot land, from which lands the Wiyots were dispossessed at the time of settlement. Later, even the tribal status was removed from them. For many years, they fought hard to get tribal status restored, which they were successful in doing in 1991. More recently, they've gotten ownership of Tuluwat, formerly Indian Island, really granted to them by, they purchased a portion of, then a large portion granted them by the city of Eureka. That was the first time any local, state, or federal government has ceded land back to the indigenous people. We are very pleased to be sharing the festival with Marnie Atkins from the Wiyot Cultural Center. For the Wiyot people and many other indigenous groups, land is not something to exploit and own, but rather to be honored and treasured, given to you by the Creator and cared for by your ancestors. We honor the opportunity to be on Wiyot land for this event. Now, a little bit about us and how we came to be the Which Way to Win. In 2010, a wooden boat sinks off a dock in Fairhaven. When Leroy Zerline pulls that boat onto the beach, he finds that it's a very historic vessel, the Golden Rule, which is the first anti-nuclear peace boat in the world. In 1958, Albert Bigelow, with a crew of 3 Quakers, attempted to sail from San Pedro Harbor to the Marshall Islands to protest above-ground nuclear testing and to alert the world to the dangers of that testing. They never did reach the Marshall Islands. They were stopped twice by the Coast Guard, one time when they were in international waters. They were boarded twice, arrested twice, tried twice, sentenced to jail twice, on the last occasion for 6 months. That sentence was commuted, I think, in part to get them to agree to leave Hawaii and not make further attempts. Returning to the mainland in 1958, Bigelow and the Quakers, to sort of continue the publicity and the attention given to their boat, commissioned a play to be written, an anti-war, anti-nuclear play. That play was called Which Way to Win. It is from a line in the, a couple of lines in the play, which occurred during a congressional hearing where a senator asks a general, he says, what's the estimated death number if an atomic weapon was detonated over a major American city? And the general replies, well, Senator, that depends on which way to win. So we've adopted that name to honor the Golden Rule and their role in the anti-nuclear effort. Between 2010 and 2015, the local Veterans for Peace of Garberville and Humboldt Bay undertook a very careful and loving restoration of the Golden Rule and relaunched that boat in Humboldt Bay in 2015. It remains, Humboldt and Eureka remain its main port, its home port. Currently it's sailing down the Mississippi River. I think it's about to reach Des Moines, Iowa, sort of soon. We began the Which Way to Win Festival in 2018 by restaging that play, Which Way to Win, which, as near as I can tell, had never been performed since 1960. And we raised money to support the Golden Rule in its anti-nuclear efforts. Today, the organization and festival actively address the nexus between nuclear proliferation, global climate change, and environmental degradation. We are a 501c3 organization through the Humboldt Area Foundation and welcome donations to support our efforts. We've been inspired by the both Golden Rule and by the Golden Rule principle upon which a just, moral, and equitable society is based. It is our mission to engage the Humboldt community through the arts to advocate and support efforts for peace and to increase awareness of the perils and risks of nuclear weaponry and global climate threats. We have put together this series of events, one of which is tonight. Tomorrow night we have Humboldt Bay Opportunities and Challenges. We're going to look at what's really facing Humboldt County directly and its community. Fairhaven, Samoa, Manila, Fields Landing, King Salmon, all will be underwater. our major corridor, Highway 101, will be threatened by water. The major infrastructures around the bay are threatened by water. In addition, we have the fuel rods stored at Booner Point, 44 feet above sea level, and questions arise as to the safety of that storage. We will be exploring all of those in this panel discussion tomorrow. On Friday night, we have Poetic Musings, The Capacity to See Beyond the Visible, hosted by Jeff DeMarc and featuring local poets reading their works. Saturday night closes out the festival with Songs of the Wind, featuring performances by local musicians and the festival's winners of the songwriting contest, and with special guests Jeff Pivar and Inger Novo. We also had an art contest which we conducted, the results of which you see hanging on the walls here. That art will remain in Synopsis through the festival and will continue on probably until mid-November. It will then move to Redwood Art Association, where it will be displayed from mid-November to mid-December. There will be an artist reception on Arts Alive on December the 3rd. We will promote that, so we'll get the word out to the community that that's also going on. I'd like to thank Ryan McGaughey, who's played piano, to introduce the evening and bring us all together. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to bring John Heckel to the stage. John is the director of tonight's performance and is going to say a few
I can do it from here. Tonight is about absurdity and laughter. During the last 6 weeks, if you've followed the news, and every time you open the news, there's another article about a nuclear power plant in Ukraine, and people are arguing. And having been born in 1946, the nuclear scare I went through once when I was young, and lo and behold, I'm 75 years old, and I pick up the newspapers and I listen to the radio, and it's there again. Tom Lehrer and Alan Sherman, those of you that are old enough to remember Tom Lehrer and Alan Sherman from the 50s and the 60s, they told us all about this in the 50s and the 60s. So what we tried to do tonight was find in theater pieces some of the most absurd looks at nuclear deterrent, some of the absolute most bizarre moments to get us to laugh. Laughter brings us together, and I hope the laughter that ensues this evening brings us together. And in terms of finding someone to start the evening from 20th century literature, who better but to start us than Mother Courage from Bertolt Brecht, one of the all-time great feminist anti-war figures. And so I introduce Mother Courage, and there will be a light shift.
and winter is dead, the snow has gone. So draw a breath, let Christian souls crawl out of their beds, pull on their socks, and conquer. Why lies are better than the truth. A scientific comparison. 1. Credibility. All lies are designed to seem true. The expert liar carefully uses elements that seem probable and logical and are therefore easy to believe. On the other hand, the truth is often illogical, wildly improbable, and hard to explain.
Lies are more believable than truth.
2. Reliability. The truth is spontaneous, accidental, and unpredictable. Lies, however, can be planned in detail long in advance and are thus guaranteed to turn out as predicted.
Lies are more dependable than truth.
3. Economy. To be the truth, an account of any given event must be completely accurate. This requires painstaking resourcefulness, expensive research, time-consuming attention to detail, complex logistics, and thoroughness. In spite of all that, some people will believe it and others will not. A lie will produce identical results without all the fuss and bother.
Lies are simpler than the truth. They cost less than the truth in time, money, and effort.
4. Value. The truth can be found anywhere. It belongs to anybody who finds it absolutely free. Lies are custom made, often by experts, and the best ones are highly polished works of art.
Lies are worth more money than truth.
Respectability. A. Great fortunes have been made by selling lies to the public. The people who sell these lies are often grateful to the gullible customers, so they endow libraries and universities and cultural centers. B. Nobody ever made a fortune selling the truth. First of all, as already stated, the truth is free. The only people who will pay money for the truth are people who are being blackmailed, and they are only buying the truth so they can hide it before anybody else sees it.
Lies lead to libraries and universities, while the truth leads to blackmail.
Stability. A. Take 1,000 parts truth and 1 part lie, result
A lie.
B. Take 1,000th part lie, add 1 part truth, result.
Again, a lie.
C. Note that you can make a lie out of the truth, but you can't make the truth out of a lie.
Lies are stronger and last longer than the truth.
7. Imagination. In reporting the truth, a person must research the precise facts and stick to them exactly as they occurred. The liar can report the same incident without doing any research, merely saying whatever comes to his mind and filling in details according to his fancy.
Lies are more creative than the truth.
Recognizability. People are accustomed to hearing lies all the time.
Oh, when you tell the truth, people think you are lying. And when you try to convince them you are telling the truth, they become suspicious.
9. Supply and demand. A. In describing any given incident, only one version can possibly be the truth, whereas any number of lies is possible. It is unlimited. Obviously, lies are in far greater supply than the truth. B. There is a great demand for lies if they are flattering, if they build up one's hopes, if they help to escape reality, or if they promise health, wealth, power, or potency. Nobody is very anxious to hear the truth. The only people who demand the truth are those who are investigating something, lawyers, etc. And they only want the truth to prove someone is lying.
Lies are the acceptable medium of exchange in our society. They are in good supply, and the demand for them remains strong, while truth is in extremely short supply. But even this tiny supply far exceeds the demand. Thus, in our society, truth occupies a position identical to that of dinosaur shit.
Conclusions.
Lies are superior to truth in numerous ways.
Lies are more ingenious.
Lies make the world seem more
Pleasant. Lies are less embarrassing than the truth and
less frightening. Furthermore, in fields such as
diplomacy,
statesmanship,
merchandising,
advertising,
public relations,
and bookkeeping,
the truth is an out-and-out
handicap. In friendship, truth is
harmful. In love, it is
disastrous.
My prediction is that the truth will be phased out of our society almost unnoticed in less than a generation. It'll be a curio like the $2 bill. Probably there will be museums where samples of the truth will be put on display for the benefit of curious young children who want to know what it was like. One can only hope that the curators of these truth museums will have the good taste not to fake the exhibits.
The truth has become old-fashioned. Like full of little nooks and crannies, like so many old-fashioned things. Some people find them fascinating. Others find them a pain in the neck. For those who care, it's a wonderful thing to hold the truth in your possession, to keep it, to cherish it, never to misuse it, to pass it along freely to anyone who wants it, undamaged, unpainted, unadded to, unsubtracted from, every bit as glowingly alive as ever.
To find all those joys in the handling of the truth is a labor of love. But most of us in today's society have no time for such things. Didn't I hear something about science?
What is science?
Ah, that's what it was.
Science is a new institution that will take over the world, for science alone can discover the true nature of reality and prove everything it says.
How?
By the scientific method. See, first we observe a phenomenon, and then we describe it, we break it down, we measure, we weigh it, we time it, and then we put it back together. And if we can reproduce it over and over and over again, that proves our hypothesis.
So science can prove a hypothesis, but what can science do?
Anything, everything.
Can you make human life longer?
Oh, yes, easy.
Can you cure illness and pain?
Yes, and we will.
Can science teach man to fly like a bird?
We'll fly high and faster, we'll go to the moon.
Huh, that's marvelous.
But that's only the half of it.
Uh-oh. What's the other half?
Well, science can also make life shorter, inflict more pain, and blow the moon out of the sky.
Well, we wouldn't have any moonlight.
Oh, well, science will invent artificial lighting much brighter than the moon.
It doesn't seem right.
Well, there's no right or wrong, only science doing its job.
What is science's job?
Transforming nature into useful things.
What about the natural things? What about, you won't hurt the flowers?
Oh, no, we'll have plenty of flowers. We'll have, plastic flowers made of chemicals and coal torn from the bowels of the earth. Or we can have paper flowers made by chopping down trees and mashing them to a pulp.
But can't we keep the natural flowers?
Oh, no, too haphazard. But we will grind them down to make smells for the plastic flowers. And we'll have plastic trees.
As nice as nature?
Infinitely superior nature. Nature is unscientific. See, in nature, no two things are alike, which is a dreadful waste of time and effort. But science will remedy all that. With science, we will mass produce and everything will have interchangeable parts.
Even blades of grass?
Ooh. AstroTurf 7254. No fade, midsummer green. There'll be no mowing, no watering, no weeding, no dandelion.
But I like dandelions.
Yeah, well, for people like you, we'll have plastic dandelions.
What about animals? I love animals.
Yes, but there's no such thing as love. But, we'll have plenty of animals. We'll have stuffed animals and mechanical animals, rubber duckies, rocking horses, chocolate bunnies, that kind of thing.
The only natural thing left on earth will be people.
But, yes, until science is ready to synthesize people.
How will you do it?
Oh, well, first we'll start off with false teeth and send prosthetic limbs, to replace those lost in wars. And false eyelashes. Fake fingernails. Oh, yes, artificial hair. Prefabricated breasts and prefabricated butt. Skin graft, yes. And we will be able to change the shape of your nose and your ears and your chin. We'll make fat people skinny and skinny people fat.
What about the brain?
Oh, the electronical brain. It'll be storing millions of times more facts than a normal brain, and it will think 3 times as fast as well. And we'll have vision machines that see much better than our own eyes, even in the dark. And our hearing machines. Not only will they hear things from distant planets, but they can remember them and play them back. Far superior than our natural ears.
Fantastic!
Oh yes, that's only the beginning. We'll have plastic livers, plastic kidneys, we'll have veins and arteries made of neoprene tubing. The heart will be replaced by a vinyl pump, guaranteed not to wear out.
But even so, there'll still be natural human beings just patched up here and there.
Oh, in the beginning, but eventually,
Eventually what?
there will be one person who has more artificial parts than real parts.
The poor soul.
Well, there's no soul. But that person will be known as Shit 51.
Shit 51?
Yes, synthetic human in transition. He'll be the first person who has more artificial parts than real one. Oh, and that's just the beginning.
What next?
Well, then we'll replace those inferior natural parts with laboratory-tested, dealer-authorized products. There won't be a natural thing left in his body. Science will create the ultimate human being.
Don't tell me I know the Shit 100.
Ah, precisely! And then next we'll invent a contraceptive to get rid of the children and all that crying and wetting themselves and all that fuss and bother growing up. Ah!
Well, at least we'll still have sex.
No, sex will be obsolete by then.
Well, how will synthetic man reproduce?
With an electric copier. Yeah? See, the Shit 100 will lie on a surface at Lab Central. And out of the plexi womb slot will come as many duplicates of Shit 100 as we need.
But they'll all be the same.
Yes, exactly! Isn't it wonderful? We'll have equality at last.
Won't you need an awful lot of raw materials?
Yes, we'll probably use the whole world.
Well, then what good is the project?
Well, by then science can go to another planet and use up its resources and then off to another one.
I think that's a good idea.
Oh, sure, there's plenty where they came from. And we'll invent a Centro sky and an Electro sun. Far more efficient than our present solar system.
Then you'll be satisfied and stop?
Don't be silly. Our challenge will only be beginning. See, science can never be satisfied until every mystery of the universe is answered and we can control procedures in the future and prevent any nasty little shocks and surprises.
Even rainbows? Even falling stars? Even one little snowflake that sneaks through by mistake?
Everything! We will control everything!
What will God do?
Who? Oh, him. Yeah, well, there's no such thing as God.
I know, but just supposing.
Ooh, you mean a hypothetical case?
All right, a hypothetical case. Just supposing there is a God, what will he do?
Well, if I were he, I would retire.
But he'll look around. He won't recognize anything. There won't be anything left the way he made it. There won't be any place else for him to go.
No, the whole cosmos will belong to us.
He'll be kind of a prisoner in a world he never made.
Well, not so much a prisoner, more of a stranger.
But won't anybody recognize him or be grateful or pray to him?
Synthetic humanoids will be free from religious sham and superstition. Isn't it wonderful? Can you just imagine it? Huh? Hey, what are you? Where'd you go? You're not there.
I was just feeling sorry for God.
Now, don't get sentimental. He had his chance.
Gather round while I sing you of Werner von Braun, a man whose allegiance is ruled by expedience. Call him a Nazi, he won't even frown.
Ha! Nazi schmatzi, says Werner von Braun.
Don't say that he's hypocritical, say rather that he's apolitical.
Once the rockets go up, who cares where they come down? That's not my department.
Says Werner von Braun. Some have harsh words for this man of renown, but some think our attitude should be one of gratitude, like the widows and cripples in old London town, who owe their large pensions to Werner von Braun. You too may be a big hero, once you learn to bounce backward from zero.
On German or the English, I know how to count down. And I'm learning Chinese,
Says Werner von Braun.
How many missions am I supposed to fly?
40 missions is all you have to fly, as far as we here at headquarters are concerned.
Then I can go home, right? I've got 51.
No, you can't go home. There's a catch. Attention!
22.
Yes. Catch 22 says you have to do whatever your commanding officer orders you to.
But regulations say I can go home with 40 missions.
But regulations don't say you have to go home. There's the catch. Even if the colonel disobeys an order by making you fly more missions, you'll still have to fly them, or you'll be guilty of disobeying a direct order of his, and then we'll really jump on you.
Then I really will have to fly those 55 missions, won't I?
Attention! 60. See? He's raised them again.
God damn him! Well, what'll they do if I refuse to fly them?
We would probably shoot you.
We? What do you mean we? Since when are you on their side?
If you're going to be shot, whose side do you expect me to be on?
What's so funny?
You're wasting your time if you expect me to help you. You must be crazy.
Okay. Can't somebody go home who's crazy?
Sure, there's a rule saying I have to ground anyone who's crazy.
Well, why don't you ground me? I'm crazy.
Attention! Why don't you ask me to?
Okay. Why don't you ground me?
What? The rule says you have to ask first.
I have to ask?
Yes, that's all. Just ask. Attention!
That's all I have to do?
That's all. Just ask.
But regulations say I can go home with 40 missions.
But regulations don't say you have to go home. There's the catch. Even if you have 40 missions, you'll still have to fly the other 15. That is regulations. That is the catch.
Then I really will have to fly those 55 missions, won't I?
Attention! 60. See? He's raised them again.
God damn him! What'll they do if I refuse to fly them?
We would probably shoot you.
We? What do you mean we? Since when are you on their side?
If you're going to be shot, whose side do you expect me to be on?
Welcome, sulfur dioxide.
carbon monoxide.
The air is everywhere. Breathe deep while you sleep, breathe deep. Bless you, alcohol bloodstream.
Save me, nicotine lung steam.
Incense is in the air. Breathe deep while you sleep, breathe deep. Cataclysmic ectoplasm.
Fall out, atomic orgasm.
Vapor and fume at the stone of my tomb.
Breathing like a solid perfume.
Eating at the stone of my tomb. I'm looking rather attractive.
Now that we're radioactive,
Just watch me spark. I glow in the dark.
we glow in the dark.
Breathe deep while you sleep. Breathe deep, 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 deep. Hi.
Hear ye, hear ye, all citizens awake!
What's going on? It's the middle of the night.
We're starting a government. Hurry! Sign here.
Go away, I'm sleepy.
But this is an emergency. We need a government to protect us from the dirty foreign enemy. Who? People on the other side of the zucchini patch.
Some of my best friends live over there.
Don't talk treason. Those people are trying to plunge us into the world's first war.
Ooh, what's a war?
Their government makes them march over here, shoot arrows at us, gouge our eyes out, and kick us in the balls.
Oh, hey, will our government be like that?
Completely different. We believe in peace, the opposite of war. Our government will prevent wars from starting.
How?
Before they can start a war, we march over there, throw spears at them, gouge their eyes out, and kick them in the balls.
That'll show them, right? Huh?
Of course, wars will start a lot of different ways. For example, the king of Babylon might say to the king of Mesopotamia, let's have lunch.
Well, now, how would that start a war?
Unfortunately, the Babylonian word for let's have lunch is the same as the Mesopotamian word for go fuck yourself. But most wars will be fought over territory.
Oh, you mean like that zucchini patch?
Right. Just think, someday you may have the honor of dying to save that hollow zucchini patch.
But I don't even like zucchini. It gives me hives.
Why worry about hives? You'll be dead.
I'd rather have hives.
Just think, we'll build a big statue of you in memory of Seth, who gave his life's blood to bring us everlasting peace for a few months. Well,
No, I don't think I'll join. What? What's going on here? Magic.
don't you believe in our glorious way of life?
Look, you go home and you work on this government idea, right? And you get some of the killing out of it. You come back and talk to me.
Our government will be against killing. We'll have police and detectives and judges to protect you.
Oh, you mean you stop a criminal before he kills me?
Well, not exactly, but we step in just afterward.
Well, better late than never, huh?
When we find a killer, we kill him. Killers must be paid in their own coin.
So what do you do to a rapist? Do you fuck him?
For other crimes, we have correctional facility, institutions.
Oh, what happens there?
We rebuild criminals so that they can live in society with human dignity.
Oh, how do you teach them human dignity?
Make them eat bread and water. Make them go to the toilet in the same room where they eat, with guards watching. Take away their names and give them numbers. Cut off their sex lives. Make them walk around in circles or crush rock. Cut off communications with people in the outside world.
Don't you build anything besides these dungeons?
Oh, sure, we build insane asylums.
Oh, what's an insane asylum?
Big building where we keep crazy people.
Well, how do you know they're crazy?
You have to be crazy to stay in a place like that.
How do these crazy people get in there?
Someone's wife or uncle or husband signs a paper swearing they're crazy. We lock them up.
What if he signs a paper saying he's not crazy?
We tear it up and throw it away.
How come?
A crazy person will sign anything.
What else do you build?
Well, school.
Oh, what happens there?
We teach children the things they should know.
Oh, like what?
Like what a wonderful government they have, and how to salute it, and how rotten the other government is, and what to do when you sing our national anthem.
What do you do?
You have to stand up, uncover your bare belly button, and put your right thumb into it.
How come?
To symbolize the cord that connects you with your mother country. Just wait till you see 100,000 bare belly buttons all doing that at one time. It's a stirring sight. Well, how about joining?
How many portions of food?
Oh, just give us all your food. We'll give you some official money.
Money.
Little flat stones.
Oh, good. I know where a lot of little flat stones are. I'll be right back.
They better have my picture on them.
Well, okay, so once I get these money stones, what do I do with them?
Well, first you have to give a lot of them to the ERS.
What's the ERS?
The Internal Revenue Service.
What does the Internal Revenue Service do for me?
It keeps you out of jail
How?
by collecting your taxes.
Taxes?
Taxes!
Oh, taxes. Wait, what are taxes?
Money you pay to keep out of jail.
That sounds like bribery to me.
Certainly not. Any bribes you pay are over and above your taxes.
What kind of things do you tax?
Well, little incidentals like the getting born tax.
What's that?
It costs 4 stones for your birth certificate. It proves you were born.
Everybody knows I was born.
You have to have an official birth certificate, for example, to get into school.
What if I don't want to go to school?
School is compulsory. All citizens must go to school. Besides, why waste your school tax?
Is everything compulsory?
No. Take the library, for instance. You don't have to use it if you don't want to.
Oh, that's nice.
But the library tax is compulsory. Although it is one of the smallest taxes we have.
There are other taxes?
Oh, yeah.
Like what?
Well, there's income tax.
Ooh, what's that?
When you sell something, you give us money. And there's outgo tax.
Ooh, what's that?
When you buy something, you give us money. Do you smoke?
A little.
Cigarette tax. Drink wine?
Oh, now and again.
Alcohol tax. Enjoy music and dancing.
Well, yeah, sure, you betcha. Oh!
Entertainment tax. Is this your hut?
Yes.
Property tax. How about the ground underneath your hut?
Yeah, that's mine too.
Real estate tax. Is that your eagle above the door?
What if it is?
Property improvement tax.
Do I have to pay all these taxes?
Of course not. You can always go to jail.
Damn it, the way you got it working out, I might as well be
A
dead.
death certificate costs 8 stones.
Why do I need a death certificate?
It gives you permission to be dead and allows you to stop using the public library.
Okay. Well,
Well, at least you'd be done. with
well,
taxes.
yes, I mean, there's that, but
Except for, of course, estate tax, surtaxes, probate fees, and court costs.
court costs, surtaxes. What are surtaxes?
Taxes on taxes. Sign here.
But if I sign this, I have to obey your laws, whether I agree with them or not. And I have to pay you taxes for life.
Yes.
And even if I do pay, I might be called off the war and get killed.
That could happen, yes.
And the money I pay goes to build war machines and booby hatches and dungeons.
And statues of me.
What if I refuse to sign?
Then you're an enemy of the state and we will have to kill you.
All right, well, what are you going to call this nation of yours?
What do you think of Freedom Land?
Speaking of government, this was at a committee meeting in Washington on July 20th, 1956, with Lieutenant General James Gavin, who is the Chief of Research and Development for the U.S. Army, on the stand, said a senator, I ask you, General, if we got into nuclear war and our Air Force made an assault in force against Russia with nuclear weapons so that those weapons were exploded in an area where the prevailing winds would carry them northeast over Russia, what would be the effect in the way of death over there under those circumstances, in your opinion?
Well, Senator, current planning estimates run on the order of several 100 million deaths that would be either way, depending on which way the wind blew. If the wind blew to the southeast, they would be mostly in Southeast Asia, although they would extend into the Japanese and perhaps down into the Philippine area. If the wind blew the other way, they would extend well back up into Western Europe. Ha!
First we got the bomb, that was good, cause we love peace and motherhood. Then Russia got the bomb, but that's okay, cause the balance of power's maintained that way. Who's next?
France got the bomb, don't you grieve, they're on our side, I believe. China got the bomb, have no fears, they can't wipe us out for at least 5 years. Who's next?
Then Indonesia claimed that they were gonna get one any day. South Africa wants two, that's right. One for the black and one for the white. Who's next?
Egypt's gonna get one too, just to use on you know who.
So Israel is getting tense, wants one now for its defense. Love thy neighbor, says the song, but just in case, we better get a bomb. Who's next?
Luxembourg is next to go, and who knows?
Maybe Monaco!
We'll try to stay serene and calm.
When Alabama gets the bomb.
Who's next?
Who's next? Who's next?
Who's next?
There's a curious paradox built into the deterrence strategy, and no one knows how to get around it. The paradox is this. Deterrence is dependent upon strength. Well, that's obvious. However, should deterrence fail for whatever reason, your strength instantly becomes your greatest liability, inviting attack instead of preventing it.
Hoist on your own petard.
And that is where all these crazy scenarios come in, where war breaks out precisely because nobody wants it to. Really, I'm not kidding. This business is filled with paradox. Here, I'll run one by you.
I think before you do, we should point out, it's not easy starting a nuclear war.
Right. Good. Sorry, getting carried away. In fact, I could run scenario after scenario. The China-Taiwan situation is most popular.
That's the hot spot, yeah?
Yes, and people just will not go nuclear.
Right. And at first we drove us up the wall. We had all these tests designed to find out what people would do when they go nuclear.
Yes, and no one would do it.
To the man, they just refused to believe there wasn't some other way to resolve the crisis.
Well, the military started freaking out.
They figured those guys down in the silo, maybe they won't push the button when they're told.
Oh, real freak out scene.
The whole Pentagon.
Ah, yes, they just went bananas. Total banana scene.
some general called me up. He said, "You incompetent jackass. What the hell kind of scenario are you giving these guys?" And I said, "We're giving them every scenario I can think of, sir. They just won't push the button, sir." And you know what he said?
Oh, get this. Don't tell them it's the button.
And we said, what's the use of the test?
Well, anyway, happy ending.
Finally, we solved it.
What? Well, you solved it.
I solved it. You solved it. What does it matter? We solved the thing.
Yeah, what a bitch.
People think it's easy starting a nuclear war.
Yeah, let them try.
Okay, I'll bite. How do you start a nuclear war?
Well, first you have to assume that a nuclear war is the last thing either party wants.
Yes, that's the key. Who would have thought that, Jim?
Okay, let's say we're in a confrontation situation where we and the Russians are facing down in Ukraine. Big Russian pour down. Let's further say we're losing conventionally on the ground.
Not hard to imagine.
And the president decides he wants to use these nuclear weapons in the area, so he moves them in.
Mind you, he doesn't want to use them now.
Right, absolutely not. Last thing he wants.
Yes, just a show of strength so the Russians will rethink their position and pull back.
In other words, it's a bluff.
Good old poker bluff.
And by the way, probably the proper move to make.
Yes, and now the president's batting 1,000. No signs of appeasement. Nothing too strong and nothing precipitous.
Now let's suppose the Russians, in the heat of the crisis, misinterpret the moves we've made and believe that in fact we're about to launch these weapons. Not a far
yes.
supposition.
Well, yes, and particularly given their tendency to paranoia.
Right.
So right now, as things stand, the issue isn't do they not want to be in a war.
They're already in a war in Ukraine.
The issue for them isn't even if they want to attack the West with a nuclear blast,
That's because they know
just that the only issue,
the absolutely only issue,
is do you want to go first and preempt this attack?
the way it out and go second.
Now recognize
First is not what we
that
do.
going first is going best. Right! And by a shocking margin too, and no scenario ever shows any different. The notion of us riding out a nuclear attack, launching again without substantial loss of capability is nonsense. By the way, we have to pause it here. Events are moving rapidly. A short time frame is crucial to this scenario. There's no time to sit back and say, hey, wait, why would he shoot at me? No. He doesn't have time to think things out. He's got to make a move, okay? So what's he do?
He shoots. Now, are we saying it's a likely thing? No, but from the Russian perspective, they have to shoot. Under these conditions, holding back is clearly the wrong move politically and militarily.
And that
It's how
a nuclear war begins. Not out of greed or fear,
but
fear, yes. And so the other guy has to go first,
or hold off and go second.
yes, before he does.
Right.
Woo! Woo!
On our own petard.
You guys are a scream.
Actually, Jimmy Teller,
Oh, sure.
actually over at the center, we all try to scream at least once a day.
It usually happens in the cafeteria.
Someone on the staff will stand up and shout, "Screaming time!" and everybody would just go,
It's a ritual we do now only when nobody from the Pentagon is around.
Did it once when some hunch of military brass were there.
Freak them out!
Within minutes we lost, I don't know how many grants.
Yeah, so now we're pretty choosy about who we scream in front of.
I'll tell you, I sometimes think, what if it really happens? If it really happens and we all go, by the way, it could all be over. And no matter what anybody says, no one knows what happens to the ozone layer in a nuclear war. Really? No idea. Okay, so I'm thinking, it's all over now. And we're up there in the big debriefing space in the sky. And the good Lord decides to hold a symposium. Because he's curious. How did this thing happen? And everybody says, hey, don't look at me. I didn't want to do it. The end result being, everybody realizes nobody wanted to do it. But suddenly there was no choice. Or no choice they could see. And the next thing that I want to say
Gone.
Where?
Away, chased away into the street.
By who? Who took her? Did they arrest her?
They chased her away. But who will take care of me?
By what right did they have?
Catch-22.
What?
Catch-22. Catch-22 says they have the right to do anything we can't stop them from doing.
Well, how do you know it was Catch-22? Did they show it to you? Did you read it?
They don't have to show us Catch-22. The law says they don't have to.
By what law says that?
Catch-22.
No. Damn it, I bet it's not even there.
Who will take care of me?
Here, this is all I have.
It's not enough.
Money is all we have.
Catch-22.
Mother, there's no such thing.
Come.
It doesn't exist, but everybody thinks it does.
Who will take care of me?
No one.
When you attend a funeral, it's sad to think that sooner or later those you love will do the same for you. And you may think it's tragic, or perhaps some other adjective, to think of all the weeping they will do. But don't you worry. No more ashes, no more sackcloth, and an armband made of black cloth will one day nevermore adorn a sleeve. For if the bomb that drops on you gets your friends and neighbors too, there'll be nobody left behind to grieve, and we will all go together when we go. What a comforting fact that is to know. Universal bereavement and inspiring achievement. Yes, we all go together when we go.
We will all go together when we go, all suffused with an incandescent glow. No one will have the endurance to collect on their insurance. Lloyd's of London will be loaded when they go.
We will all fly together when we fry. We'll be French fried potatoes by and by. There will be no more misery when the world is our history. As we all fry together when we fry. And we will all bake together when we bake. There'll be nobody present at the wake. With complete participation in that grand
together when we char. Let there be no moaning at the bar.
Just sing out our Te Deum,
When you see that icy beam,
and the party will become as
you are.
When we burn, there'll be no need to stand and wait your turn. When it's time for the fallout and St. Peter calls us all out, we'll just talk our agendas and adjourn.